Welcome, welcome. My name is Amanda. I'm a cruise ship employment specialist. I worked on board cruise ships for 10 years and then went into cruise ship employment and recruitment services for another 5 years after that. And then last year I started my own company called getalifeatsea.com, where now I help individuals and adventurers get paid to travel the world. Today we're going to be talking about this myth that you're too old to work on a cruise ship. So let's dive into it. So firstly, number one, there is no maximum age to work on board a cruise ship. The oldest, and this is a true story, the oldest fellow crew member that I worked with on board, this was actually during my first or second contract actually, was a lady named Patty, and she was over 75 years old. She was a seasonal youth staff and she was over 75. Now, is that commonplace? Probably not, but on average, the bulk of the crew, if you look at the bulk average of the age on board, most of the crew are going to be somewhere between 25 and 45. And what you're going to see is a lot of people in the supervisory and manager levels are going to be 35, 45 plus. So that is something to keep in mind. The minimum age to work on board is 21 or over. But there is no maximum age. So that's awesome. And someone's just putting in the chat, that's a fellow crew member, that they worked with lots of people over 50, as did I. So that is something I really wanted to make clear. So there's no maximum age. Number two, secondly, cruise lines specifically look for older clients or older candidates often because of the following things. Older candidates often have more work experience than their younger counterparts, so that's a huge plus. Older candidates can be easily groomed and promoted to supervisory and managerial levels quite quickly. Not to say that the millennials can't, but if you are an older candidate and you have a wealth of experience, most likely it's going to be very easy for you to fast track yourself to a supervisory or managerial role. And at least from what I've noticed, an older crew member or an older candidate tend to be more focused on training and career progression than some of their younger counterparts sometimes. So, basically that comes from just being on board for 10 years and seeing what was going on. But what I tended to notice is that ages sort of 21 to 25 tended to maybe stay on board for like a year or two, try it out, and may or may not decide to make that a career. But if you're an older crew member, that tends to be your career that you have for a longer period of time. And there's actually certain positions on board that I've only seen older crew members in. For example, security specialists. Those are usually individuals with past police and military background. The cruise lines like to see a minimum of 25 years or older, preferably even 30 plus, because that role requires quite a wealth of experience. So that's something to keep in mind. And managerial roles too. That's great. Yes, a lot of cruise lines will tend to hire older clients for managerial roles. Again, not to say that younger people can't be in managerial roles, but it tends to be something that you see 35 plus in. And then thirdly, as long as you're fit, so if you're older, as long as you're fit and you have a clearance from your doctor regarding passing a basic medical, you will most likely be fit to work on board. So the only thing that may happen is if you're over 40 to 45 years old, you may have to do your cruise line medical every year versus every 2 years. So most crew members, 40 and younger, will have to do their cruise line medical every 2 years. If you're older than 40, 45, you might have to do it every year. Again, just so the cruise line knows that you're in consistent, physically good condition to be working on board. But that's pretty much it, guys. Again, this video was all about dispelling the myth that there's a maximum age to work on board or that you're too old to work on board. That is just not the case. And so I really wanted to make this video because I knew it would be of value to many, many people out there. So if you think that working on board is only for millennials, you're misinformed for sure. Working on a ship is for everyone. And in fact, older candidates can have a bit of an upper hand sometimes due to their higher number of work experience years. So if you want more information, be sure to check out my website at getalifeatsea.com. You can also take my free Are You Ready for a Life at Sea quiz, where in 30 seconds or less, you will find out if working on board a cruise ship is for you. You can take that at getalifeatsea.com/cruise ship quiz. And be sure to follow me on all my other social media platforms, subscribe to my YouTube channel here, but also check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere, Twitter. Just search Get a Life at Sea and you'll find me. I also do live broadcasts on Facebook Live from time to time as well. So I do thank you for spending time with me today, and we'll see you next time.